October 28th, Wednesday, 2015. Something extraordinary has come for me to share with you and others creating we. Together, we support one another and create community. And as a community, as a people, we are so strong. That is why problems that stem from a country level, from a national level, seem to be so difficult to overcome as an individual, because you are not as powerful as a community. And those fictitious entities that people give their energy to, such as nations and laws that are not in harmony, corporations, companies, entities that suck energy and destroy and do not help to build energy and joy and abundance. Those are still more powerful than individuals, because if the individual does not create community from within, and by creating community from within, because everything starts from inside, bring it out and connect with others. So what has come for me, because I have come for myself, is we. And who is we? We is global community of people who each bring something special, but decide to join forces to bring their skills, to support one another, to help one another, and to get support much more than they could do as solely as an individual, such as an individual therapist or an individual coach or an individual writer, an individual videographer, an individual teacher, an individual doctor, an individual shaman, individual organic farmer. So we are you and me and she and he all together. And there's a reason why life can seem to be so difficult for many people, and even for people who've done a tremendous amount of work on themselves, and they sit with their emotions and they breathe and they meditate and they exercise and they have community. Often it's still a struggle for them because they're living in a unhealthy society, in an unhealthy community. Maybe they have a job which drains them. Maybe they have connections, relationships, family connections, and the sense of obligations which drain them. And it's totally logical that they would feel drained, because they're immersed in a fictitious community which drains, which does not create abundance, as we can see by looking at the world of the old ways of doing things, with the ways that governments, many governments, most of the time do things. The overall effect of governments and corporations and these fictitious entities, which people join out of a sense of fear, out of a sense of obligation, and not out of a sense of free will and creativity and what their real joy and what their real passion is. These fictitious communities, these fictitious entities that people give their energy to out of fear, they only drain the divine light that each of us has, and it leads to suffering, sickness, premature aging, emotions which are not pleasant and joyful to experience. So we has come for me today, just as I was walking here in a community that I'm living in right now. And though I'm living in a community, I have been feeling and thinking and calling on the divine forces within me, within this creation, within everything to guide me and give me the answers. And just as I was walking, I got this. And it's so beautiful because you are so beautiful. And we are more beautiful together because we help bring the beauty from within. When we join together, we shine brighter because we support one another. And you can ask for support. And you can give support to people who you know how to give support to. And you can play and have fun and experiment and journey and do things that you never thought that you would be doing, that you never imagined you'd be doing, but are absolutely wonderful and great and feel so good. And you're bringing your unique essence and your gifts and your skills for others, for the world. And you feel that you're living for we instead of only for me, instead of only for really what is a cultural creation. And this is the idea of individualism. We are all connected. You would not be alive if it were not for the sun, which gives life to the seas and the plants. The animals take life from that, and we take life from that. You would not be alive if it were not for your parents. You would not be alive if it were not for the people who have helped you. You would not be alive if it were not for all the farmers who grew your food, all the people who helped create a world that is livable, who destroyed old systems that weren't working anymore. The amazing thing about today, which you can see by looking over just the past 50 to 100 years of history, is that the evolution of consciousness is occurring exponentially because we are in a new age. And this new age is not something that you can just sit back and it will happen. Well, that could be the case. Oh, it's a fly. Could be the case. I'm just speaking from my own view of things, but I believe that if you want to evolve and you want to live a life that's full of joy and full of passion and full of freedom and full of goodness and everything that you love, that there is a way to do everything you want to do to fix all the problems in the world that is fundamentally different from the old way of doing things. So your mission is not to fight against evil and against things that are bad. Your mission is to go within and create a paradise. Because when you focus on something, even if it is really bad, and you feel bad, the darkness, the badness is winning. And you might wonder, how can I feel good when there's these things that are so fundamentally bad going on? And the answer is, it's the only way that you're going to win. The only way that the light is going to win. The only way that we win is by living joy and living happiness and living in community. Because as you know, when you feel depressed and when you feel bad, you really can't be of service to anyone. Because consciousness, your consciousness is showing you that you need to take care of yourself. And how do we take care of ourselves? Well, it starts with the things that we can do. The biggest thing we can do, starting with the breath and being grounded in ourselves, is to choose to join in and live community. And I have just learned this in the past few weeks. It's really come clear for me in my whole being, in every part of my body, my consciousness, my mind, my feels. And I love this community, yet there are things that I feel like me as who I am and what I have to bring, I have some things to explore which are different from other people, which is true for everyone, because we are each unique. We are each unique cells of this body we call a planet and this human consciousness. And it is, if we want to evolve, we cannot try to evolve. We cannot try to fix things through the same way of thinking that created the problems that we see, that we can see today. It's something people go back to Albert Einstein as having said. And he really brought a really brilliant consciousness, really brilliant perception to the world. So I think that he knows what he's talking about in a lot of things. So I'm someone who, I love community, but I also want so much to travel and I want to experience different places. And so what I've asked for has come for me. I have come for me as this everything that I want to do with this life, with this body, with this form, with this experience. It's and more than I can imagine. I'm sure. But I know what it is that I'm creating. I know that it is that we can create. I cannot create this without you. And so I'm asking you to find a community to join in and to really share yourself with. And I'm going to have a lot more videos that will help, where I'll share things that I've learned that will be of help for you. And you can share things that you've learned that might be of help for me and for other people too. And so what I'm creating with you. What we are creating is global community that has no boundaries, that is not set to a certain center, that is not set to a certain dogma, that is not set to a certain way of operation, but which is really a pure expression of your soul and your essence, and our soul and our essence of freedom, of the new age. The world that we know is right. The world where we live in harmony and peace. The world where we are not at war. The world where we are free and we live in passion and beauty and sharing all of these things with one another. So To be more specific, what we are doing now is creating a way for anyone who wants to live in community to have a way to earn more income. This is not something that you pay into or that anyone pays into. It is a community. So what this is any other community who wants to live in community, sees the value of living in community is relevant for you, could be relevant for you, could be relevant for we, is relevant for we. And we are not a singular entity, we are a dynamic whole. So all I'm doing with my form and my energy, with my expression, is to create this global home that starts from inside, that gives people the tools to start inside and start with the breath and start here. And also is dynamic enough that it's not stuck, so it's not one way, but it is the way of any way that works for you, any way that works for you to live in community. So that might kind of sound like it is one way, and maybe it is, but what I'm saying is that we are not one community, but we are many. We are global community. So what I'm doing with my energy and my form now is to create this which you can join in, and we create together. So more to come very soon. Thank you. I love me. You love you. We love together. Wow.